Hey guys, Moss here. Hope you're doing well. My little daughter is here. Get ready. They help me set up. They're my production managers. So, all right, kitty cats. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, honey, can you get some more water? Just pour water in there. Alrighty, guys. Let's go ahead and get comfortably situated. Welcome to Moss on Sundays. And as people log in, we'll just take a moment or two. I think that's good. So we'll continue on. Again, the first part, the first half hour is about thanks, honey. The first half hour is about reading you, analyzing you. Again, I'm not a psychic or intuitive or anything like that. My abilities go way beyond that, and I do teach people to do that, by the way, because we all have these abilities. So my intuition, if you can call it intuition, that's the closest thing, but it's more of a knowing rather than an intuition. And intuition is, you get feedback from, say, your external environment, feedback that goes not beyond your senses, but the deeper things that we miss as we scan our environment, and then we make, say, more intuitive, so to speak, assumptions, high level assumptions. My abilities actually go beyond that. It transfers you from your physical realm into, say, your more of your, if you want to call it your spiritual identity, I call it your pure presence. So I operate from a higher level version of myself, and that's what I teach you how to do, is helping you teach or helping you operate from a higher level. And then you see things from a different level. So again, it's more of a knowing, or it's an understanding. Okay. And it is very different. So I'll go ahead and analyze you, see what's going on. I don't need to know anything really about you other than, you can just go, hey, please scan me. This one, Master, I have an invisible visitor in my home today, lucky 13. Again, I don't need to know really anything about you, just your essence or your coding, or even how you say. There's an understanding that comes through whatever you type, whatever you enter in. So that's why I don't need to know your real name. I don't need to know your photo or anything like that. I tap into, say, your frequency signature. Right? Each person has a certain frequency signature. So again, this first half is just analyzing you. So if I do read you, please comment back. I know I'm accurate, but it's beneficial for those individuals who are kind of on the fence or not sure on how this all stuff works. And it also allows, so again, it's not proof that I'm accurate, because I know, but it's for you to understand that there's a higher, say, consciousness, or a higher, say, framework, or matrix that actually dictates this reality. Okay. So the one in Portugal, the visitor, you've always had visitors, even in when you were younger. It's almost like you summon visitors, because you're probably alone, or not connected to other people. So you would have make-believe friends. So a lot of times make-believe friends aren't really make-believe. So if your parents, or back in the day, your parents said, you know what, that's just in your head, you're going crazy, you're really not, you're just very intuitive. Unfortunately, if you don't know how to use that power well, just like a power tool, it'll destroy you. And a lot of you kind of sense, a lot of you who have that ability, well, you didn't know how to use it properly. So now for you, for that one in Portugal, you're actually, say, separating, and that's why you're noticing that there are presences around you before they just walk into you, and then they take over. And so if they had a shitty day, for example, you have a shitty day. So now it's like you're separating your identity from physical people, and then essences that are of a different frequency. So in a sense, yes, it's your job to say again, detect your body and the presence of your body compared to other realities. In that way I can help you say expand your abilities. Can you tell me what's happening with my spine? Please work on me. Sure. This is Veronica. Again, another individual. You're starting to awaken through XI, exponential intelligence. What you're doing with me, and now what's happening is, I see your mother just like literally entwined around you. It's like you can't escape, and she's probably done things or put you into situations that you're just stuck. She just it's like a wedge, and she pushes you deeper and deeper and deeper until you break or you succumb, so to speak, to her needs. It could be a mother, or it's a female frequency. Again, probably your mother, grandmother, aunt, sister, whatever, or anybody else that has a female frequency will probably put you in that same position. If that makes sense to you, and your relationships feel like uh, they're feminine males. So, and again, it puts you in a bind, so to speak. Anyway, that bind just tightens your spine. And now what's happening is like it's starting to break apart. And as it breaks apart, your spine might be a little weak because, well, just think all those things wrapped around your spine has, say, embraced, kind of like using crutches, right? Or a cast. If you think of it, now it's like that stuff falling apart. So your spine might get weak. So I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but your spine will start to say expand itself, get more stronger. But you would have to say exercise, work out, stretch out, eat properly, because your bone structure also is weak as well. It's like your bone structure feels chalky to me. Again, not a doctor, anything like that. I'm just telling you what I see. I could be all off. But I might not. But these are all suggestions, by the way. So with that in mind, you're getting rid of, say, how you age. That's how far you're going. So it's a really nice place to be. Yeah. So you don't have to age the way your family did or the way this person that controls you did. Okay. We'll move on to Facebook here. This one is it Sarah Holder. Scan me, please. Soraya Holder. So Soraya, you're always in your head. You're always too worried about what, say, people think about you, which is okay. Again, really nice abilities, but you don't have that self-confidence or completeness. So it messes you up. So, and again, it's a fantastic ability if you knew what people thought about you, right? You just pick up on people and go, oh, it'd be great for sales, marketing, people do publicity and so on like that. You'd be a great individual for that. But the way you use it, and the strength in that is like you pick up on people, you'll pick up on, say, future fads or whatever it might be. And, it's like, oh, that's what they're needing. That's what they want. Right. But then since you're not stable enough just yet, so keep doing the 18 days. Human reset coming up for you, by the way. Soraya is really good for you. It'll create a whole new identity. So if you're strong and you see that, it's like, oh, they need something. But what you're doing is like, shit, I'm weak. It's like they need X. I'll be X for them so they can like me. That's the difference. Do you see the difference? It's a huge freaking difference. So again, most of your weaknesses, and again, just flipping that around for you so you don't, for you'll experience that you won't give a damn about other people. Initially, and it sounds really harsh, but it's a good thing for you because you get to create who you are first, and then you'll give a damn about other people in the way I said it. Okay. So let's take a deep breath in. By the way, guys, as I work on one individual, I'm not just reading you or analyzing you. I'm helping you change your programming. It is that fast. Obviously, it's not like a complete shift. You can do the privates, the sessions, transformational sessions, and so on for that. Let's see. Yeah. So most of your weaknesses, all of you, no matter what the weakness is, those are really opportunities. Those are nuggets of growth for you, by the way. So don't think of them as, you got a bad hand or anything like that, or God gave you a bad hand. I'll be talking about that in the power of prayer coming up at 10:45 my time. So in about 20 minutes. This one is, my face is in the way. Chara. Hi, Moss. Can you help my mother? She has problems with her heart. Well, yeah, but at the deeper level, again, not a doctor, the deeper level with her heart, not necessarily her heart, from what I'm seeing. Again, it's my opinion. But what happens is that she's eaten too much sugar or too much carbs or that kind of feel, where it's almost like a diabetic type pattern, where the elasticity in the muscles of the heart and then the arteries and veins, whichever, arteries, veins, I don't know which one sends out blood, which one brings in blood. I think the arteries, take blood away from the heart, if I'm right. The veins bring it in. But anyway, that elasticity is not there, especially around the heart. So the heart muscles are a little weaker because, say, something stretches out, pumps, it stays stretched out. And that's the problem. And it's mostly the arteries, not necessarily, although the heart is getting that way as well. So, let's just help her, say, make the best out of it. If she was, say, a little bit more youthful, those things can turn around like they have. Again, I can't guarantee anything, but the bigger picture, the deeper picture is that she's never really wanted to live, which is really sad. It's always like, shit, I feel like dying, or I'm going to die, or I want to die, that kind of type pattern. Does that make sense to you? So it's like life is just, she's dragging life behind her. So in that situation, that's what you're, say, getting prepared to do, or that's what it's like, shit, people are. So for you, for example, and that's why you want to help your mother, is that you tend to get people that's like, you have to keep pulling them forward. It's like, hey guys, look at this life. It's a great opportunity. It's a great adventure. Come on, guys, let's get going. And that's your relationships, your work, your family, everybody around you just like drags you behind. The underlying reason is what I just said about your mom. It's not your mom's fault. I mean, that pattern kind of goes throughout your family, but I'm just giving you some reference point, so you go, oh shit, that makes sense. So let's just cut that off for you, right? And again, you might feel cold. It's like, fuck, I don't care. I don't care about it. I just want to live life. Well, once you start to live life, your mom starts to awaken, and she goes, shit, and then her years that she has left becomes a lot better for her. Okay. This one is Carrie B. Hi, Moss. Could you please scan me? Happy blessed Sunday. Thank you. You as well. So Carrie, for you, you run, I don't know if you have a partner or your kids, seems like. And again, just, yeah. So masculine, I think it seems like you have two kids, whether they're girl or boy. They run masculine frequencies because you dictate, or you dominate, or you need masculine frequencies around you to become who you are. If that makes sense to you. So you're one of the boys, so to speak. But when you're one of the boys, or when you're fulfilling, say, a masculine need, or brothers, fathers, uncles, whatever, in your family, probably back in the day, and now it's in your genetic makeup, is that the men would go out, and then basically the women would fulfill the needs of the men, whatever they needed. For example, food, shelter, all that stuff. So now it's like, but the problem with that, and there's nothing wrong with, say, fulfilling your man, but the problem with that is that in those situations, the women forgot who they were. It's not like, and this is what's wrong with the women's movement. I don't want to get into it. Is that you know, is that women, it's like, well, screw men. Well, we're built to help each other. That's why we're male, female. So when you say that, you disconnect and you'll never fulfill, and you'll never be a complete woman. You become worse. But it's not what you're doing, is my point. Okay. It's how you see what you're doing or how you fulfill what you're doing. So if you're doing it from, I'm losing myself to fulfill the needs of my family or the men in my family, and that's your pattern, by the way, you'll never feel fulfilled. So let's do it another way, where it's like an honor to help your man. And then what happens when it's an honor, not an obligation that's wrapped around your neck? You obligate. I actually did this morning, 18-day, talking about obligation. Who are you obligated to? Your work, your family, your church, your whoever, or are you obligated to be your best possible self? So you switch over to be obligated to be your best possible self. And then whatever you do, you do it you do it and you become your best possible self. So for those, say, back in the day, those women, they could have done, and I'm not saying they did it wrong, they're just maybe weren't aware, like all of society isn't, is that they could have done it, say, as a woman helping out their men, right? And that would be a proud function, and they would become really strong, say, XI women, and that the men, they would, say, support their, when they come home or do whatever they do, they would come home and they would support. It's not an antagonistic relationship. They would support the females into even, say, flourishing, or becoming their best even more. I know those days are past, but even nowadays, you still need that function because it's in our genetic makeup, right? To support each other in different ways. So that's what's up with you. We'll go to Instagram here. There's so many. Sorry. As a note, guys, I don't need to read you. If you're running those similar frequencies, I'll be working on you as well. What's stopping me to get financial abundance? This is Loretta Bega. Loretta Bega. So for you, there's a couple personalities in you. So that's one. You can't really be truly abundant if you. So, for example, for you, okay, and this is what's wrong with success. By the way, I did Wealth DNA. You might want to take a look at that. It's part of the Best You. I don't know if it's on their website, or we'll try to get it on ours. But they recorded it, so we'll try to get it. So for you, for example, and this is why wealth doesn't do justice for most people. They have a lot of money, but again, it doesn't do justice. So for you, for example, say you have three identities or personalities. So basically, I think back in the day, you would try to be a pleaser for three different people, but those three different people are very different. Does that make sense to you? Say you're in a chaotic family, right? A lot of turmoil, a lot of, say, getting beat up, or physically or psychologically abused. I don't know which worse, or they're both unnecessary. So think of it. You run to your mom. She runs a certain personality. You adopt to her personality. Your dad seems like there's alcoholism or something, either on both sides. Anyway, you adopt to her. Him. And then maybe somebody else, maybe a partner or something later on. So there's three personalities in you. So think of it. No matter what situation you would get into, you're always trying to adapt or accommodate, say, somebody else. And you run those three personalities so strongly that you don't know who you are. So again, taking, say, the best out of those personalities and pulling you into, say, a oneness. So for example, you become successful. Okay. You become successful. Well, success is a magnifier. I've always said that. Success is a magnifier. So what that means is it'll magnify anything that you are, your strengths, and most likely it'll magnify your weaknesses. And if you magnify your weaknesses, just think what happens. you become split personalities. Those identities become stronger and stronger. And you literally, right now, they're like states that you get into, if you will. Um, or like, I'll just pretend this. But as you become successful, what happens is that you actually create so much intensity, because that's what wealth does. It's a magnifier, right? It creates so much intensity that you split into three different personalities. And this is why, so your pattern is why a lot of, say, actors are really good actors, because they can accommodate or adapt or change into those different personalities, but they don't know who they are. So they get into drug treatment and counseling and stuff like that. So you want to do it right. Again, you want to come into, say, a oneness, and then so you're becoming not successful is actually because you're intuitive as well. It knows that that's the pattern that would happen to you. So you're saving yourself. That's why you might get successful, but then you might lose it, right? Because of that split. You can't hold on to success, by the way, because you'll feel that, say, separation. So pulling into a oneness. So let's all take a deep breath in. There we go. This one is Patricia Coyne. Please help me remove any blocks. Thanks, most. Sure. So you're doing really good. I think whatever that you've done with XI is, it's like you've pushed yourself above, say, that trash that you were in. Okay. And now it's like you're starting to understand, you're starting to see what's holding you back. And it's not an emotional state. There's no, say, victimization. There's no guilt. Guilt runs in you quite a bit. It's like shit. It's like guilt. Basically, guilt is just chains around your neck. Right? You're obligated to do something that you shouldn't be doing. Basically, that's what guilt is. Right? And it works well for people. It's a powerful frequency. You don't want to step away from it, but you can use that power. So get guilty about not being your best possible self. Get guilty about you have a limited time, and you're wasting it. You're squandering it on people who aren't of benefit for you, to you. They just like suck more life out of you. So feel guilty about that. Okay, guilt, selfishness, all those things that, say, are used against you, use it the other way. Okay, get selfish about your time, not like taking the last piece of cake, and unless you need to or whatever. But you know what I mean. But get selfish about your time. Get selfish about how people use or abuse your time, your identity, your reality, your space. Seems like people just throw stuff at you. It's like, hey, fix this, or kind of like dirty laundry. Can you do my laundry? That kind of feel. So. Now what you're doing, again, you're elevating yourself above that, and you're looking down, and this is where anger, frustration, and so on. It's like, shit, so again, use those negative emotions. Use those negative emotions in a positive way. That's what they are, guys. There's so many self-improvement people, gurus or whoever, you know, uh, you know, negative emotions, you're still supposed to stay away from them. You're supposed to crush them. This one event I went to, this other self-help guru, it's like they had target practice, and they had all the negative emotions, and you're supposed to shoot your negative emotions. It's not a good idea. It just creates more friction. What you want to do is you want to band them together. Right? It's kind of like Tai Chi, or those martial arts, that uses the force of the other person, right, for your benefit. This is the same thing. You want to use the force of those negative emotions. So for you, when frustration, anger, and so on like that, that'll show up for you. Because you're more of a pure frequency. Although with a bad definition of negative emotions, don't stay away from those negative emotions. understand them, embrace them, befriend them, and you'll see those negative emotions will pull you out of situations much faster than any positive emotion could ever. Okay, because we're wired for fear and getting the hell out of, say, situations of danger. Negative emotions, that's what negative emotions and fear are about. They're very powerful tools, and most again, everything that you've learned about, it's all bullshit about negative emotion. Okay, and if somebody on my team, can you write that down? We'll do something about negative emotions and how to use it properly, what it's built for. Okay, so again, for many of you who've done XI, whatever negative emotion that has come up for you is probably the negative emotions, guilt, fear, anger, and all. Those are the emotions that controlled you back in the day and even now. Now you're flipping it around, or your essence, your spirit is flipping it around, and it's using those negative emotions. It's proven that it's worked for you. It's proven that it controls you really well. So it uses that negative emotion that was very successful to control you to say, disconnect you from that control. That's how negative emotions, say, are supposed to be used. But most people go, no, you walk away from negative and always stay in a positive state. That's bullshit, right? You can't reference where you are if you did that. Right? This is a place of reference. Imagine that you're on a plane, right? And the plane is always off course, by the way. I fly planes. It's always off course. You always have to, say, micro adjust. Right? Negative emotions are letting you know that you're off course. So if you get rid of your negative emotions, where the hell are you going to be? You're going to be in a big circle or a circle down, or it's a downward spiral. So use both positive and negative emotions. I see many of you kind of fucked up by what you've learned in the past. So straightening that out for you guys as well, as we will with prayer. Good morning, Moss. I've been in an intense period of transformation the last 4 months. I'm in a new relationship. Can you scan me? I want to know if this new man is more of my past. So I would call it, this is something Pearl, guys. Ohanis? Anyway. Yeah, so for you, it's more of a, I would say, a learning relationship, because I know you've changed quite a bit, doing whatever that you've done with me, the 18 days, some sessions with me, and, the meta healings that I call it. So for you, a lot, it's like rocky, tumultuous, because it was like that before, but now you're becoming aware of how rocky and tumultuous that your life is. So in a very short time, it'll flatten out for you. It'll be level because you own your own sense of self. So in this relationship and other situations that you're in, it's a learning experience. It's like, do I want to recreate from the past? Right? And if you don't, say you get into, say, a situation with your new man, and your new man gets you into a situation that reminds you of the past, right? It's like, you don't want to go, uh-oh, here we go again. Because one, that, oh shit, reminds me of something that happened to me in the past, because that's what it's there for. Okay. And then, so what do you want to do? And this is the choices or deleting confirmation or pushing through your challenges. What do you want to do? Hey, so your spirit's taking the opportunity of, programming, say, that I helped you with. It's like, hey, it's your choice now, because I can't make choices for you. I can only show you different paths. So it's like, hey, do you want to run your old pattern with this new person, or do you want to run your new pattern? Again, it's a new relationship. So do what you want to do. Right? I can't make that choice for you. Obviously, if you want to change your life, what do? You would pick your new pattern, right? It's pretty obvious. But some people, they don't, because they feel like their old pattern is right. They feel it in their heart like you would. It's like, oh my goodness, it feels so right to me. But look at, again, don't trust your emotions. Look at where your old patterns have taken you. Think of it. Look at where your old patterns have taken you. If it's the wrong direction, don't trust your emotions. Again, go towards logic, and that's what you're getting into, or that's what I'm helping you with, is like logic, right? And not cognitive logic, but your higher consciousness logic, or how this reality works or operates. So again, so a learning experience for you, or a learning relationship for you, could it turn out into a fantastic relationship? Sure. So it's got fragments of the old and the new. So they're going to bring about, again, this is why it's learning, some old patterns in you. Okay. And you say no to how you reacted to those old patterns and go forward into another direction. And if they follow you into that direction, then it's a good fit. If not, well, it's a learning experience. You learn from it, and then you separate and go upon your way. Right. So what we'll do on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and stop this session, guys, on Instagram. So 1 second, guys. I'm going to put you down. And then what we'll do is just restart on Instagram. So just log back in, okay? Alrighty, guys, we are back. Hey, welcome back. So we're just going to wait for those people on Instagram to come back on. There we go. And then we'll just continue on reading on Facebook. This one is Marion Rose. Yeah, Marion Rose. Have you tried it's not for me, it's for somebody else. I love the community that comes through, guys. One helping each other, so that's fantastic. So really nice job for those, and I encourage that, guys. Okay, for those who are been here before, seen the changes. If there's new people and you're seeing, so ask, guys, the new people, and obviously I can't answer everything. So for those who are, say, up and coming, join in and help other people. That's how you learn about yourself, right? This one is Nilo Safi. Hi, Mas. Scan my kidneys, please. I suffer from kidney stones every 2 years. Thanks. Well, what you do, and I can see why kidney stones for you, is like, you hold on to something so powerful, so strong. You have fantastic, say, courage, because most people, if they're in that much pain or distress, emotional distress, psychological distress, and even physical distress, they would go, fuck, it's way too much for me. I'm going to let it go. But for you, no, you just hold on to everything. Like relationships that should have gone bye-bye years ago, situations, I don't know, even financial distress, things like that. It's like, fuck, I got to disconnect. Nope, you just hold on to it. So there's no dignity in holding on to something that doesn't work. I mean, take a look at nature, right? If it's not working, it just like eliminates it, right? In nature, it becomes very, very efficient. So take the dignity, take the pride in holding on to something that, say, will be of, say, honor for you. Most people, and again, it's probably what I'm seeing is your fathers, and I'm working on your kidneys as well, by the way, but the bigger picture, okay? There's a lot of, say, physical issues that people have is because of, well, just that, frequency issues or pattern issues. So again, your father holding on to, like, you're on a sinking ship, right? You're going to go down with the ship. There's no need for that. There's no honor for that. Yeah. So anyway, disconnect from all that. Let it go. Not care so much, and that's what I'm helping you with. And that's what you'll probably experience, is that you're not going to care as much, and then you're more free flowing through time and space. And it'll become, say, more effortless to regain, because you have really nice wealth frequencies that you've never known, or materialization frequencies. Again, really nice abilities, but you'd never know. because you just hold on to one identity, and that's a corrupt identity for you. So again, in this case, releasing all that, and then you probably release a lot of other toxins that are in your system. Okay, and other aspects too is that you, I wouldn't take too many supplements, because yeah, I'm not a doctor, but that's what I see. All right, guys. So welcome. Hey, guys. This is Moss on Sundays. And this Sunday, we're going to be talking about the science of prayer. Okay. And then we'll do, say, a mini metamorphosis, or what I used to call Medihealing. It's a meditation on steroids. It's a meditation, and it's very different than a normal meditation. It pushes you into, say, a state of consciousness, much deeper than a meditation. Well, basically, more like what nature would do for you, but more intent, and then helping you deprogram yourself. Okay, helping you, say, self-heal, so to speak. So what we're going to do is talk about prayer, the science, some of the thought processes on prayers, some of the, I guess, the bullshit that's wrapped around prayer. So logistically, what happens, right? You're in a religious faith, no matter what it is, or spiritual faith, and then you have a higher identity of yourself, right? Not of yourself, of, say, a Godhead. I call it pure source. Let's just call it pure source, because then it removes your identity. But you can use God or anything that you choose. So spiritual, and again, religion, it's really quite the same. And even, say, non-faith people, or confused people, right? And then even atheists, they still pray. Okay, they just say it differently. They would goal set. Scientists would goal set. That type of mind. Intelligent people, so to speak, will goal set, where, say, more emotional or spiritually, say, inclined people pray. So it's the same damn thing. It's the same logistics. So whether you call it goal setting or prayer, it doesn't really matter. There's a minor difference to it. Again, the spiritual side looks at this entity or deity, or however you want to look at, that's well above them, that will, say, fulfill their needs. The goal setting person is like, for the most part, is like, okay, what do I have to do at a conscious or physical level to, say, get to what I want? So it's the same thing, literally. Again, just different sources. The problem with, say, prayer in the religious spiritual side is that you give away. And I'll talk about both sides. You give away your power. Okay, that's there's a few things. Problem, the science behind it is that, one, you give away your power, and when you give away your power, it's like it's like they have, or they hold the keys. They have and they hold the keys to, say, you getting it or not. It's like applying for a loan. If you think about it, it's like, shit, I hope I have good credit, right? Did I do things right? And then you go through the process. Oh shit, I didn't help this old lady cross the street. I didn't do X. I might have yelled at my kids. It's like, fuck. That means that, it's all like checkpoints, right? On your credit score, or on your prayer score, let's call it. And then, so what happens? You start, let's see here. Just give me a second. I think I'm running out of battery here. There we go. So caught it just in time. So what do? So you start thinking that you're a bad person, or you've done something wrong, right? And then again, it's like your prayer doesn't get answered. So your prayer doesn't get answered. It's like, what do I have to do? So what do you do? What do most people do? They become nicer. They become whatever that they need to, whatever they think that society deems as nice. Because again, nice is all fucked up too. It's all messed up. Being a nice person, what does that mean, right? Basically, being a nice person in this today's society is like, you forfeit all your benefits of being a human, and then you allow other people, right? You disgrace yourself to allow other people. And I might be extreme, but it's good. Extreme, slaps you up and wakes you up. So when you do that, what do? You just like well, you deteriorate yourself more and more and more to get what you need, right? The other way, say the goal setting way, is that they don't get their goals. They do more and more and more at a willpower level, and they try more, and they blame themselves, they blame their families. So, and this is where, again, alcoholism and those individuals who are E-type personalities, right? It's like, fuck, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. So it's the same thing. It's like, why can't I accomplish that goal? This person that's not even as good as me accomplished their goals. So why? What the hell? What's wrong with me, right? And again, you start attacking yourself. Both sides, you start attacking yourself, and that's a big no. And so that's one issue. On the spiritual or religious side as well, what happens is that when you start to pray for something, for example, and you go, hey, God, please help me get X. And you always go, I've done good. I went to church. I prayed 5 times a day or whatever, your religious dictates. I did this. You see that? Again, it goes back to being a good person and doing the right things. And then your prayer doesn't get answered. So we talked about you do more, but then over time, it's like you get really, really desperate because you need, for example, you think you need whatever that you need. Okay. And again, it could be a valid need or not so valid need. Or worse yet, is that you start praying for somebody else. Okay. And again, let me just explain. So you start praying, oh, I hope my son gets whatever. I hope my daughter or whoever, cures themselves of cancer and so on. So in those situations as well, what happens is that you forfeit yourself. Okay. It's like, so especially as they get more and more ill, it doesn't work out for them. Does that make sense to you? What do? It's like, I'll give anything, including my own self, to help them out. So that's another big no as well, because you can't do that. You just can't do that. It doesn't work for you. Okay. At say a physics level or the science level of prayer, it doesn't work for you. And I'll show you how to do it properly, by the way. So one, so we've got the 2, right? You belittle yourself, and then 2, you offer more of yourself. Okay. On the goal setting side, you start making deals. You start shortchanging yourself. You start, bringing in people. It's like, well, this isn't going to be a good fit, but shit, I need whatever that they have, right? So it's the same thing. Again, it's like you let go of your dignity to have this person. It's like, I hate that person. I hate the way they treat me, but they got their talent, for example, right? I'm going to bring them in. So kind of the same thing. So the other, say, strike 3 against how normal prayer is and normal goal setting is that what happens is that when you get so, say, flustered or pushed into a corner, and your definition of God is off anyway. Okay? Your definition of your higher power is way off, okay, from what I've seen. And again, no offense, but from what I've seen, I would say 100% people don't understand the definition of what a real God definition is, okay? Especially if it's based on, let me just say this, it's not what Jesus, Buddha, or Muhammad, or any of those great individuals would define God as. Straight out. It's straight out. If you did, you would get the same results or similar to them. So obviously you're not. The second aspect of that is that, again, a wrong, ill definition of God, or the definition of God, say, giving you what you need, or God granting you what you need, which is bullshit. And I'll talk about that. And I know I'm just like destroying all your logic levels. Shit, That's what they've told me in religion, and everything in society, and whoever. My parents. So the second aspect is that, you know, say that you do get fulfilled, right? Your prayer gets fulfilled, but and it comes from it says a blessing for you, right? It's like, say you wanted, say $100,000, and then somehow that 100,000 came into you, right? You prayed for it, it came into you. That there's a bright light. There's that beauty, there's that love that you feel, that connection that you feel. It could be your, that connection that you feel, and you think it's God giving you your, whatever that you needed. Well, most of the time, it's not really God, because although it might feel, because your definition again is duplicated or copied by, say, somebody of a higher level than you, that is on the dark side, going, hey, well, their definition of God is X, Y, and Z. It's like, I'll be that person that, grants them, whatever that they need, and I'll feel like X, Y, and Z to them. Right. So, and then what happens is that you get granted, and it's like, oh shit, it worked. So you'll go back to that one. It's a distorted God definition, but worse yet, it's an imposter God for you that you've created, okay, or that you've invited in, okay. And then, and I go, it's like, well, how can that happen? Well, let me tell you the physical experience. Yeah, just I'm still on the call. Okay. Daddy, when is mommy gonna pick us up? I don't know, hon. I'll tell you, okay? But I gotta go. Okay, guys, my daughters. So anyway, so we'll take a deep breath in. So now you have an imposter God, okay? And now, again, you're never really supposed to connect to anything below you, in that manner. You're never supposed to give your power up in that manner. So now what happens is that, to exchange that for you, okay, you've already accepted, say, their gift. So you owe them, whether you know it or not, you owe them, right? So you keep going to, say, this imposter God, and it gives you more and more and more. And then, well, over time, they need payment back. They need payment back with interest, by the way. It's not free. They need payment. So the way you would experience it is that, yes, you did get what you wanted, but then, your life deteriorates. Things happen to you. So it's like a blessing in this. It's not a blessing. It's turned more into, say, frustration, or whatever that you got. It comes with a heavy physical price, right? And that heavy physical price outweighs literally the blessing that you got. So if you did get something, for example, that you prayed to God and it showed up for you, and then it started to become, again, an oppressive state, you're paying, because that wasn't, say, God that you, say, prayed to, or that wasn't God that fulfilled that prayer for you. On this side, what happens again is you keep selling yourself, because you start to get greedy, right? You start to, say, drown, or it's like, God damn it, I know I can do it. I'm going to do anything. Again, anything. I'm going to do anything. Right? I'm going to do anything to accomplish my goal, whatever it is. So again, this becomes ego. This becomes destructive for you. And then, while you sell yourself out, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't freaking matter what you believe in. Society or this reality works the way it does. If you didn't, say, weren't aware of, say, gravity, and you go, I don't believe in gravity, I'm just going to go through it. Doesn't matter. Gravity still works on you. It dictates, right, what and how happens to you. So same thing here. Say you have that ego state. What you do is that you have an aha moment. It's like, oh, I can do this. But you know that there's something attached to it. Many of you, say, business type individuals or A-type personalities, you know that there's like, shit, I can do this, but there's this power, or there's this something underlying it. I can't quite, say, define it for you, but people who've been in that situation, right? I know you can know. I know that you know what I'm talking about. So it's like, God, should I do this? I can do this. And then it's like, God, it feels so tempting right? So tempting. It's so real. It feels more real than anything. Again, a more euphoric state. You're basically your definition of a higher power, whether you believe it or not, that you have cognitively because you're of a human consciousness. You still develop that. You can't get away from it. So what do? You sell yourself basically to the devil. This is where a lot of successful individuals, whether they believe it or not, a higher entity or not, atheism, they still do the same damn thing. And then that's where, again, they've sold themselves and their downline. Same thing on this side as well. You've sold yourself and your downline to a power now that controls you, because you can't get rid of that debt. Once you're in that debt, unless you have somebody like me or somebody that can disconnect, and most people, by the way, can't disconnect because they're at the lower frequency. You have to be, say, beyond space and time realm to, say, have authority to disconnect debt like that, by the way, including the devil. So your family, your downline, this is where on both sides, right? Non-religious spiritual people, religious spiritual people, on both sides, what you will do is your family now owns that debt. Say you die, okay? That debt gets through genetic or DNA structure, that family. The next generation, say, the next generation absorbs your debt. And this is where the illness patterns happen. This is where bad situations happen. This is where, like in really wealthy families or not so wealthy families, this is where, let's see, just strange deaths, curses, things of that nature. That's where that comes from, right? Let's see. So there's more depth. I'll do a podcast on that. But let's do the flip side on how to do, say, prayer or and goal setting, right? Okay. And what we'll do is we'll just guide you into a state, because it's more of an experiential understanding or knowledge that you have versus like logical. Okay. And that way you're on the track. You're already on the track. You're on the path. And then your cognitive decisions follow. So most anything else that you do, self-improvement, especially psychology and so on, it's like a cognitive deal. And then your essence follows. But this is where and that's why it's so powerful. Your essence, your higher self, your spirit pulls you first, and then you follow, where you get pulled along. So let's take a deep breath in. Just noticing where you are. Noticing the space around you. Another solid breath in. And if you want, you can close your eyes, or you can look at me if you like, whichever. Connecting to the group. A lot of people, a ton of people on the call, so thanks for that. The mastermind group, okay? Not your current version of who you are, right? I'm forcing you to get into a mastermind of your higher version of who you are. So again, it's almost a vortex that pulls you to your best possible self. Just give me a second. All you have to do is pay attention to your shoulders, the points of your shoulder, the top of your head, so the pyramid, okay? Wonderful breath in again. Asking yourselves, how do I become my purest possible self? Again, how do I become my purest possible self even more? Or if you'd like to connect to a higher power, your Godhead, let's remove the definition. So how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Okay. So pure source, pure definition of whatever your faith might believe, and then beyond. Strong breath in again. We'll just sit in silence. I don't want you to think it's hypnosis or I'm planting seeds within you. Feel the power within you coming in. So this isn't a conscious or state change for you. You're operating from, say, a higher level consciousness, or your spirit, if you'd like to call that. So in this state, you feel that, say, congruency in you. For the spiritual side, God doesn't really care. So let me put it in a nice way. God loves you so much that God will allow you to create anything that you like in your life. Okay. 2, you don't have to ask God, a higher consciousness, for whatever that you want. Because God has already given you everything that you need and beyond, way beyond what you think you need or want or desire. It's way beyond that. So that's already given to you. It's in your, say, treasure chest. For the non-spiritual goal-setting people, it's the same thing. It's already part of you. It's not separate from you. Right? That's the key. Both sides, it is not separate from you. So what I'm doing, and that's what you're feeling, is helping you, say, change or edit your frequencies, what you resonate at, to accomplish or get those things that, say, that you need. So take a deep breath in. So in reality, the real reality, not this current reality, all you have to say is render it or materialize it. You already have it in a state of consciousness somewhere. We just have to resonate with that state of consciousness for it to appear for you here in this reality. You already have the blessings of God if you need somebody to say it's okay. That's why you're here in physical form. You've made it. Okay? You're here. You've got everything, say, that you need to make this a fantastic life. And there's no payback. You've done that at some level outside of this space. understanding you are that grander being. So again, you don't have to exchange anything on both sides. Again, goal setters, what do I have to give up to achieve the goal that I want? What do I have to say succumb to get my prayers answered? It's the same damn thing. So let's take a deep breath in again. Why don't we do this? Because we're all here. Just give me a minute. Notice your heart, your head, your groin. Pull you into a higher, say, state of being. And then whatever that you need, ask for it. Does it resonate with you in your pure state that you are now? If it doesn't, it's probably not beneficial for you. So don't force it. Just allow for something better to show up for you. Strong deep breath in again. Staying in this state. Sorry about that. So let's take a deep breath in again. Hopefully you stayed in that space. Again, noticing your head, heart, groin. Noticing what you desire, or better, to notice what you desire, or better, and notice where it is. Is it outside of you? Is it within you? Notice that now it's within you because you're resonating at the frequency of the object of desire. So when those frequencies, say, align, you'll start to see, you'll start to, one, pull whatever object of desire within you. So it doesn't destroy you. You don't have to give of yourself. Like the goal setting method, you don't give of yourself. You don't disconnect or move away from who you are to get what you want. You strengthen who you are to get what you want. For the religious side, when you get what you want or need, you become an expansive being. In this case, when you get it the other way, you diminish your own strength and abilities that God has given you because you're, again, allowing an outside source to create your abundance. But that abundance has always been given to you already. So So as we take a deep breath in again, just keep you in this state. Just disconnect if you'd like. I would highly recommend staying in this space just for a few minutes, a few minutes longer. The longer, the better for you, just to allow it to say integrate with you, so you start operating from this grander version of who you are. And if you're new, welcome. A lot of good things coming up for us. So take a look at massajady.com, MASSAJADY.com. Human Reset for those individuals who've been here before. Again, it's a fantastic, and for those who haven't, it's a fantastic opportunity for you to really transform, really shift your life in, in all aspects of your life. Physical, we're going to have a nutritionist, health plans, and so on like that, getting you in the best possible shape. Reverse aging techniques that work from the inside out, not just the way you look, but organs and so on like that. Um, um, it's called altering carbon. So moving away from, say, a time-bound body identity, moving more into, say, more into a really timeless individual, kind of like those individuals that just kind of float through life, and they're like naturally abundant. So getting you more into that. You don't have to age, deteriorate like society or your parents or lineage like that. So, all right, guys. Again, notice what you notice. Stay in this space for as long as you wish, and I'll see you. Take care.